maybe the beauty of it is that we support this childishness.
So I outzoned them from the friend zone.
Okay.
And then she counted how many times she will see her friends in person
Until the end of her
till they
life.
die.
Oh my god. Now and then in conversations, I'm like this wise lady. Why wait for good stuff? It's because friendship is underrated in a way. So friendship is always in the background as opposed to your relationships, as opposed to your family, as opposed to your kids, and so on and so forth. So it comes as a given, and it's so not.
Guys, if you're listening to us, go to your friends and say them you miss them and they are important in your life so they know.
Yeah.
So they know. We are radical
Of
people. So
course. I mean, do you know where we come from? Of course, we're radical people.
Shift happens.
Shit happens.
Happens. Shift happens.
Hi. This is the third episode of Shift Happens, and Maria and Ira are very good friends, and we're talking about very intricate issues in friendships. Hi, love.
hey again. We had 2 episodes already. One about the importance of friendship. So just to say hello to you guys. And
It was a
then
1 hour hello. It was a
it was
massive
an
one.
hello. Yeah, it was a massive one. And the
Yes.
second one was about how to make friends, which leads us obviously to
How not to lose
maintain
them.
friends. Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Expression.
It's the eternal marketing problem of retention. You know, whatever your acquisition is, the retention must be there. Otherwise, it's a leaking bowl, and you can't do anything about
And I
it.
would say retention is even more important. Like, what's the reason to attract more and more people into into your life, and then leave them to be
Exactly.
and abandon them at some point? So let's not abandon our friends.
Cool.
But actually, we have different opinions about that, about abandoning and not abandoning.
Oh, yes, that's a bad one. It makes me look like a bad person. Ow,
No,
ouch.
it's not. I didn't meant it like that, but we have different opinions and we have different approaches, and we actually talked about this with other people.
Yeah.
What to do when something is not working, and we will actually have separate episodes about what to do when something isn't working.
How to fix it, and actually
Which
how
is
to end things that are not working, because that's the point where we have different opinions. Properly. Like the end is the end. Okay, back to the good stuff. Wait, before ending things, no. So we are talking about our old friendships and how they evolved, because this is all about change. And as you said last time, and the idea I really loved from our last conversation is that it's not just about the change around us. We are changing, and our friends are changing, right? So how do you like not drift apart on this separate tracks of your personal changes, right? That's
and
the question.
I have first question to you.
Please.
How do you I don't know, see your friendships, let's say 10 years, 20 years ago and now, how they are different? What have you changed? Like, this something, is it because I imagine all friendships change during the, like, it's very natural. But this is something you influence, or this is something happens to you?
Well, to begin with, like the longest friendships that are still in my life have been there for the past 16 years. That's massive. That's quite a lot, right? And obviously, 16 years ago, when we were in our first year at the university, we knew nothing about life. Let's be honest. You know, we were this cultivated, nice house plants, having great relationships with our parents mostly, and it was just the sheer excitement of being in the same new situation, because university was promised as the best time of our life, and I still think it kind of was. Um,
Oh, do you?
yes,
Like, this
absolutely.
is a peak and everything else is, like, downfall?
Not necessarily, but I just, remember that time with so much excitement and so much lightheartedness, because obviously life didn't kick us hard back in the days. And your job was to, study properly, yes, but to have fun and to explore what friendship means, what love really means, what, I don't know, decency means, and what you are and who you are and what you really like and what you really don't like. Yeah, and that was the time when everything was mostly was happening for the first time. So I was quite excited about that, and I was quite excited about getting my friends and getting to know people and acquiring my friendships that turned into something really, really big. Um, so back then, it was probably more about pure joy and excitement and being open and being not really even vulnerable, maybe just a bit, but because there was no reason to be vulnerable. We were exciting
Mm.
people just getting together and getting along really well. I think that was the case. With time, to your question, how that changed, um, we were together when loads of things happened, sad things, happy things, and every time it's your choice as a friend how involved
Mm.
to be with that situation of other person, right? And I think
Mm.
we did quite a good job because we still are together. And just yesterday when my friend came over to me here to London from Florence, and previously we were all in Moscow hanging out. And we immediately set up this Zoom call and we chatted for 2 hours straight. And it was so warm and it was so cool. And I still felt like, yes, we are all in this together, although 4 different countries were speaking at the same time on the same call. 4 different places, 4 different time zones, 4 different life pathways got
Mm.
together, and still we were there. We were absolutely aligned about what's happening in our lives, and it was just beautiful. And I don't think that this is the beauty of this well kept friendship, because right
Mm.
now, as adults, with all the complexity around us and within us, we are there. And maybe the beauty of it is that we support this childishness in us because that was the way we met, and that's the way
Inner child, your
that's the
inner
way we
child.
remember each other in a
Mm.
way.
I think we also talked about this a little bit last time, like this, and and that's universal thing. I think we're gonna talk about this a lot. Like without this effort, without this time spent together, you cannot achieve anything. I'm not saying that the time itself is enough,
Yeah.
but without that, without like being there, yeah, nothing else actually can happen. And even this alignment, even this being there is a kind of memory. This is like talking versus building memory, but even talking, even Zoom is an experience, is an experience being there for each other
Yeah.
when we are in different countries. And yeah,
But
I
it
do
was not
agree.
always like this. When you're talking about
Oh.
this long-term friendships, it was not always like this. There were times when we were more present and when we were less present because things were happening in our lives and we thought, okay, this is not about friendship now, it's about something else. So people got easily excited or distracted by boyfriends, eternal situation, right? So am I
Oh, those boyfriends.
so that was definitely a part of this. um but surprisingly, as we grew older, and we are now in our 30s.
Hmm.
So I remember it really clearly that 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, we started bonding so much and we became so close. I think those are really cool things that our mums know each other very well. And
Hmm.
actually, I do remember that at one time, it was pre COVID, 2021, I think, we all gathered together for super cool Christmas evenings with all our mums. And we asked our mums to teach us something. And one mum was doing a workshop on like making a, I don't know, Christmas tree beautiful. Another mum was teaching us how to cook this teeny tiny Russian dumplings, so how to make them handmade.
Hmm.
And we were drinking and we were making this, and that was so much fun and it was so lovely. And
It is.
in 2021 it was that the joyful situation, and we kind of took pride in introducing our mums to each other because that was
Hmm.
never the case before. And right now the consequence of that is that our mums are in Moscow and our mums support each other and they call each other and we text with other mums. So it's kind of a never
Oh my
ending girl
God.
circle right now. And I love
What
it so much.
amazing story.
Can you
Amazing.
believe that?
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
I can, and but in the same time, I kind of I'm jealous. Like it's amazing story, and amazing, achievement
Yeah,
to have.
it is an achievement. It's okay. It's right.
Yeah, it is an achievement, and it's also something I think we haven't talked actually, and I would love to have something like that. So the friendship between different
Yeah.
generations, because usually we talk about our peers, about people who are in similar age, more or less. I think the difference between us is like 5 years,
Yes.
something like that. Yes,
Yes.
so small difference, like
Not different generations,
not,
love.
yeah,
We
yeah.
are definitely the
It
same one.
doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
But like being close, not to your parents, but also to other people who are in the same age or much younger, that's actually also super interesting, like understanding different points of view and learning from different experiences. So yeah, like amazing achievement. I'm very jealous, and I would love to be. Oh, I'm already a huge fan of your mom. So
Oh,
but we
yes.
haven't met personally, just online, a few exchanges of my with in my broken Russian. So still learning
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make a first conversation.
She's very fond of you,
uh,
so you are a part of this girl circle.
that's also amazing thing, and I think it contributes a lot to our mouth of words.
Yes.
Pam 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 pam. So sometimes you hear about someone's friends, like we talk about our friends, and then you almost feel like you know them.
Yeah.
And this is how you can actually make new friends, like listening to someone. I'm super interested in meeting your friends as you talk a lot about them, and oh, they must be such a cool people, I would love to know them.
Yes.
So that's also a nice thing, that I actually hear a lot about your mom, and I love hearing a lot about her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a big part of obviously, of my everyday life, but also to your point about friendship with different with a different generation, super important because, well, there is, like, the absolute truth is that my best friends are my parents. I don't know whether I'm blessed or it was a proper, like, work that we did so that it became so important and we became so cool and close as friends. That's important, not as a daughter parents paradigm, but as real friends. But it's also, when I was thinking about the topic of the episode, it's also quite complex to sustain that friendship over the years, because your parents also change and that friendship evolves, and that friendship is something really important because it's day-to-day based conversations. So you have your friends and you have your parents friends in a way. So that's also quite a cool relationship to dig into.
I think it's cool, and for me, I don't have that. I love my parents, but they are parents to me. They are not my friends
Yeah.
in a so I outzone them from the friend zone.
Okay.
And I would say same with my siblings.
Okay.
We are not friends. I love them. I care for them deeply. If they need a kidney, like I'm here for you guys.
Yeah.
But like when I have a struggle or things I want to discuss, they are not on the top of my list, I would say. And it just happened. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like why did it happen? But whenever I hear some stories like yours, I think it is amazing. It is an amazing achievement to have very strong friendship, like connection
Yeah.
with your parents or with your siblings. And I think some people don't treasure it enough, don't understand how it is not very often, I would say, because it's not a given.
Okay.
So it's really nice that you also appreciate that you know that it's special.
And it's really wild to me because I have this angle of the only child, because I've always been thinking that if you have siblings, that means that you automatically have best friends in life. that's because I've never experienced that myself, right? So I don't know how it works.
I have 3 siblings. Just
you have 3 siblings
to understand the context.
I have a friend now who has a sibling, and they are now together in the same city. And I just yesterday we had this conversation. I was asking her, like, does it really help that your sister is here now? Because I thought it would, because it's so cool. You have a soulmate of a lifetime because you were born together, and it kind of should work out. And I know nothing about that stuff apparently, because it doesn't work that way. But to me, it's this problem. People with straight hair always dream that their hair would be curly.
Yeah.
And people with curly hair will say, you know what, fuck this.
Because the blonde wants to be a brunette.
Exactly. Yeah. So we always think that something is better if we don't have it. So we kind of want it. And then in the end, it's just something completely different.
That's completely true.
Yeah.
And then I would say that the reason I think some people are friends with your siblings and some aren't is this that there are the same rules like with any other friendship. So like a right context, a right time, engagement, your investment into it and stuff like that, and similar experiences that you can share, similar views. And you not always find this in your siblings. Like, for example, I'm 10 years older than my sister, and we have different paths.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously are interested what's happening in one another, but we are at different stages in life. Yes, so not always. When I have some issues related to my work or my relationship, she would be the first one to go, and I would be her first one to go. Although I might be maybe focus more on that. So that's the lesson from today's episode. Maybe I should be working more on that. Because as we mentioned, this is how much effort you put, and maybe I didn't put enough effort.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the learning. We talked about how the friendship changed, like like rediscover your friends you made 16 years ago.
Yep.
And I've read a very interesting article in the Atlantic about adult friendships and about kids friendships.
Okay.
And we talked also about this inner child. It's lovely that you mentioned that. We lose our inner child at some point. Some of us, not all of us. Some of us sometimes lose this connection. And kids actually connect differently than we as adults.
Yeah.
Like they just hang out. They just spend time together. There is no agenda. There is no,
social baggage. Who are you? What are you? Where do you work? Cares.
Yeah. And also, even when you have those friends already for some longer period, let's say for a year or something, you don't start every meeting, how was your I don't know, last week's, because we haven't spoken during last week. So you don't start with the recap of, this is what happened in my work, this is what happened, I don't know, with my kids and something like that. You don't do recaps.
Yeah.
You just go into straight fun.
Okay.
It's all about having fun together. And when we are older, there's time together. Sometimes it's maybe not like transaction. It's not transactional, because then you wouldn't say it's a friendship, but it's it's, for example, combining things together to be more efficient.
Yeah.
So you start thinking, okay, I don't have much time to spend with my friends because I have work, other stuff, maybe a boyfriend. So let's do dinner together. Let's do a double date. So let's combine other stuff and make it also, like super packed with everything. And we sometimes forget about the fun. There's, like more check boxes to be thick than just pure let's do something. And I think we also talked about this in the first episode, that friendship is also going through the bottom zone.
Yes. Yes.
Like you accept the fact that you might spend an hour, 2 or a day with someone and nothing huge will happen. You will just waste time together, and it's okay, and it's nice, and it's good. and if you feel, okay, I wasted my time spending time on doing nothing with this person, that means that maybe it's not your friend. If you are not willing to offer someone the most precious thing you have, which is time.
That's so true.
Pavlina.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Pavlina, our friend.
Hello.
She writes, hi, Pavlina. She writes an amazing newsletter, we will for sure share a link to her website. And she really goes deep into different stuff that I think makes her somehow interested and passionate. And she did this amazing piece about time recently. And there is a lot amazing observations there, so I don't want to spoil that. But one thing that stayed with me, when you are a kid and let's say 6 years old, and you have a friendship that lasts 1 month, and let's say you are 35 or 40 and you have a friendship that lasts 1 month, when you are old, that 1 month means nothing.
Yeah.
But for the 6 years old, that 1 month,
it's like a massive part of their life, right?
It's a massive part of their lives.
Yeah.
So like that was shocking, like how this time, changes our perspective and how we different see the investment. The same amount of time, and we may say, I only saw her twice. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And for the kid, it might be, I saw her twice. We are best friends already. So I think it's also good to see like how much time and this effort we put impact the relationship, and how much time we want to offer, and what's the meaning behind it.
Yeah. About time, I just remembered the power of visual aids, right? Because on the internet you can find these infographics about if a person lived for 99 years, and there's an infographics, 1 square equals 1 year, and you see 99 squares, and it's not much, and you enter your age, and then that exact number of the squares is sort of gone or colored with another color. And you see that, okay, there's even less time. And it's so stupid, but when you see things like this, you start appreciating what you're doing with your life more in a way, at that particular moment. But yeah, that's absolutely true. I was just thinking while you were talking about this.
May I jump in?
Oh, do jump in.
I noted something, and I wanted to share it from our research with our friends.
Okay.
That was something that shocked me, and it's super connected to what you just said. So one of my friends made this observation that she has friends that she rarely sees because they live in different countries. So she's able to see them personally, let's say once a year. Yeah. And then she counted how many times she will see her friends in person
until the end of the life.
They die.
Oh my God.
Because she's like, on average we live 8 years, let's say. We are now close to our 40s, so let's say we have another 40 meetings with our friends, maybe shorter.
That's very rational, but that's so tragic. I can't really process
tragic,
it.
But it also puts good perspective, because I think we very often we don't think about this. We say, like, we still have time, or I didn't have time to show up for my friend now, or like I'm busy, so we cannot schedule this meeting, or I will go for holidays with my new partner and I want to focus on my new relationship. My friends can wait. Do they?
Exactly.
I'm not saying you have to spend all the time with your friends. Obviously, we have different focuses in our lives, different priorities and different interests and stuff like that. Just saying, it's not given the time you have with your friends, and let's not treat it like this, I would say. Yeah, that's for me. When she said that, I was
that
like,
is so
oh
good.
My gosh.
Yeah.
There
was a recent movie, a very, very stupid one. Julia Roberts and George Clooney. They are divorced, and then they fall back in love. Da-di-da-di-da. And then the key quote that she kind of kept repeating was, "Why wait for good stuff?" And she sort of justified that she just jumped into new experiences and that she didn't want to wait for things because there was the backstory that they were building a house and they were waiting for that house to be completed for so long that in the process they sort of fell apart. And since then she kept repeating like a mantra, "Why wait for good things?" So I took it. So that's the importance of watching stupid movies on your flights. I took it as my own.
You can learn wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. It's my wisdom, and here and now and then in conversations, I'm like this wise lady. Why wait for good stuff?
Have you seen? I think it's A Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Of course.
I love this.
Ever since I want to go to Iceland, for starters.
Yeah. It should get so much more recognition.
Yes.
Because
something to rewatch.
It didn't, but it gives me so much warmth and this power also to do stuff.
And so much, food for thought in a good way, right? Yeah. So while you were talking about the concept of presence, being your friend's life and so on and so forth, that's for sure. But I read one of the articles, I guess it was The Atlantic as well, that said presence can take...
The Atlantic.
The Atlantic did really good in terms of covering friendships.
Yeah.
It was about the different forms and shapes this presence can actually take. And I was just thinking, would it feel natural to me if my well-established longtime friends and I, now that we are in different places, would sort of automatically check in, I don't know, twice or 3 times or 4 times a week. How are you doing? What's up? Is it okay? How are you feeling? But probably wouldn't feel that natural. However, I started thinking about, are there any markers that felt really natural to me, making sure and making me feel safe about these friendships, making me feel okay that they are not falling apart and we are not drifting away from each other. And I think it was precisely the moment when one of the friends, we of course have this never-ending chat group in Telegram with funny stickers and funny videos that we send to each other. And she once texted, "You know what? I miss you and I miss us." That's when I understood that, yes, I mean, we're there for each other. And even if we are not texting each other these formal things, "Hey, what's up? How are you feeling today?" Which would be another demonstration of how you feel that your friends are important.
Those are important questions. It's good to
ask. Absolutely. Yeah. But it's not necessarily that. So it's just, I think that my point is that you have to find the right ways to vocalize your affection towards your friends and to make sure that you are still cherished, valued, and you are still on the same page, in a way. Wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom. Because the alternative is said, because sometimes you think about someone, but you just skip this one message.
That's shit.
And then the other person, but it happens. Like let's not judge it here. It happens, and if it happens once, like in some longer period, it doesn't change a thing because like you have time to cover this and it'll check in next time, and maybe someone else is more active in your friendship, and sometimes it happens. It's fine. But if you miss this occasion and someone else on the other side missed this, you start drifting away. And in a friendship, and we will touch a bit this, maybe not the conflict, but this end of the friendship. Sometimes when you are in a long-lasting relationship with someone and you, live with someone, usually when it ends. Like you have a huge fight, or you come to this resolution together, or someone leaves, you need to stop living in the same apartment that it ended. And with friendships, sometimes you don't. It just slowly fades away. And that's and it's much more, I think, often with friendship to be ended like this. So that's why this, like, I'm thinking about you.
Because don't you think that
super important?
In addition to that, that's because, and that's again one of the outtakes from a couple of research that I skimmed through before the episodes. It's because friendship is underrated in a way. So friendship is always in the background as opposed to your relationships, as opposed to your family, as opposed to your kids, and so on and so forth. So it comes as a given, and it's so not. Yeah, so that's I don't know whether that's even a revelation of this podcast of ours, right?
And also, I think people have different priorities.
Yeah.
So some of the people I talked to before we started recording podcast, they were saying friendship is the most important. Friendships are the most important relationships I have. And some of them mentioned, no, family is the most important. Family, work, then friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. Some people believe and claim, and this is true for them, that this is not the most important relationship in their lives. From the pragmatic point of view, they should change their minds, because having friendships, research says American American researchers say that to maintain your cognitive ability, to not go into dementia when you're older, it's good to have friendships. So
obvious value.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, and I'm respectful towards priorities of every other person. Sometimes what's the issue is you don't know those priorities. So if for you the friendships are the most important, and you really spend your time and effort on them, and on the other side the person likes you and really treasures you as a person, but you are not the priority, at some point it might be difficult to maintain such a friendship. I think we talked no, we haven't talked, I think, on the podcast, but we did talk with our friends about this, about the layers,
our parallel lives now, what we're talking about on and off the podcast.
I need to listen all of them every time we start recording to make sure not to repeat myself. So you have different tiers of friends, and someone might be tier 1 for you, and you might not be tier 1 for them.
It's like a pyramid of friends.
But you might feel disappointed somehow, because as you mentioned, sometimes, or we both talked about, sometimes you don't do all that stuff, although you don't send a message, I miss you, I think about you.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you don't care, but sometimes it is because you don't care. And how to and the other side needs to think, okay, am I good about this? Like, am I fine about being more involved person? So guys, if you're listening to us, go to your friends and say them you miss them, and they are important in your life, so they know. So they know. I think it's also important. Like, it's a bit like with the romantic relationship. Just say the fucking I love you.
Go.
Just
go. I read a very, very interesting article. Again, The Atlantic. Today is all about The Atlantic and praising the great journalistic work. So there's this author, a reporter in The Atlantic. She's called Julie Beck. And she has been consistently reporting on friendship and the art of friendship for quite some years. I find that really fascinating, because news journalism sucks, because news suck. So, that type of journalism I really admire when people are exploring something more of a sociocultural angle, because that is really nice. So what she's been doing is she has been working on this thing called the Friendship Files. And it's a project where she interviewed 100 couples of friends. All different friends who became friends for different reasons, at different age, at different stages of their life.
Please interview us.
We're going to be 101. Yeah, so, and after she has interviewed all of those people, she came up with 6 forces that help you either form or maintain the friendships throughout the years, which I found really fascinating. So let's just quickly skim through and see what we think about it. So, force number one is accumulation. Basically, is how you make friends and what do you do to make those friends stay in your life. It's again about investing your time. So she mentions that it's from 40 to 60 hours to make an acquaintance, and then from 80 to 100 of hours to make a proper friend. And she says that the easiest part there is to connect in like common places, common atmosphere. So she says, where you have to interact anyways. It can be work, it can be school.
I think we covered some similar statistics.
Yeah, it kind of matches
also.
nicely.
It kind of matches, and again, invest time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking.
It's inevitable, right? Invest time, otherwise it's gonna fall apart. The second force is attention. And attention is not in a way of being attentive to a friend, but be attentive to where your friends are, and look for friendships in places you would never expect to find friends. She's like, a friend could be waiting in the comments section of an article. You can be arguing with people, like with trolls on Facebook, and they can become your friends in an elevator, and so on and so forth. So life is unexpected. So accept this sort of chaos and the number of chances that you can either take or skip, right?
Okay, cool. So I have again comment to this. I once formulate a friendship, or we were colleagues at the university. We were standing in one queue to university administration, and she had the same name as I had. And in my age, I usually don't meet a lot of Marias. So when she just introduced ourselves, and she was Maria and I was Maria, it was, I think, first Maria I met at that point in my life, and we started celebrating our names day.
Nice.
And every year we met for huge celebration and clubbing for our names day. It ended, I don't know even why, if she's listened to this by any chance. So hello to you.
To all the Marias
really
of the world.
Really lovely memory.
Oh, that's so cute. I mean, making friends in the queue. I'm always very pissed in queues, so I'm not a friendship material. If you see me in a queue, it's a no-no. So the third
one?
The third one is intention. So attention gets you so far without action, she says. And she's like, friendships take work. And I absolutely support that, because friendships and relationships take work. That's why I'm so furious when people say, you know what, this didn't work out. No, it means that you didn't work, too much to make this happen. So that was the problem. So,
okay. I'll stop you here. So you say, like, if the friend, like, that the fault for the falling of the friendship should be divided between the two parts?
Not necessarily. No, sometimes it's just one person to burden all the blame. It happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it happens from case to case. Things are quite
We are
bespoke.
radical. We are radical people.
Of course. So. I mean, do you know where we come from? Of course, we're radical people. We don't want any gray zone to happen, right? Yeah. Number 4.
But you should start with, every one of us should start it. Did I do my part?
Exactly. Yeah. And if the answer is no, then it's you to blame. Haha. The fourth one is probably my favorite one, because it's all about rituals. Here's my question to you. Which rituals do you have with your long-term friends?
I am prepared. I didn't know that this question will happen, but I have a lot of nice rituals.
Okay, share some perks.
All right. So I did create it with some of my friends, either rituals, either a project, so we can have more time together. Nice. So the podcast is not my first big project with my friend. I need to admit that. I remember I started a blog about cooking with a friend of mine. And one of the reasons was obviously we love cooking, we love eating and stuff like that. But the other one, we wanted to have something to focus and to spend more time together, not just, social interactions, not just dinners. And we started, we created a blog. We started doing those recipes and exchanging, like ideas what to do next, how to, like be more creative and stuff like that. We did even an interview in some local radio about that. Amazing
Whoa.
time. We did it for I think 2 or 3 years. I won't share, I think, the link for the blog because we didn't update the design for the for the last 10 years or so. So it now serves more like our private cookbook. So I still keep that because whenever I want to cook something I created 10 years ago, or all I created 10 years ago, I just go back there. An amazing project. That's one. The other one, there is this series, Brain and the Pink and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain, his Pinky and the Brain.
Yes. Yes. And so I remember at one photo, we commented that we look like Pinky and the Brain. And then we started doing similar photos throughout our life. So whenever we go somewhere, we do Pinky and the Brain photo and we comment something, what's happening outside and how we want to take over the world. And we travel together and we have this. You actually met this friend. So it's Gosia. We met in Berlin.
Remind me, is she the Pinky or the Brain?
She is the brain. She is the brain. I'm the Pinky in that relationship. I'm the Pinky in that relationship. And whenever because we travel a lot.
Okay.
I love traveling with her, and we did really amazing trips. We went together to Japan. We went together to Taiwan. We went together with my husband when I got married to South Korea, which is also amazing to have a friend that really connects well with your partner, and you can spend time together and also travel together. And she is the most pragmatic, prepared person, so she knows all the stuff about the places we are going. She has everything figured out, and I'm just great follower. The only thing I require when we are traveling together is to fulfill my hunger, because when I'm hungry I'm really huge monster and you cannot deal with me.
I remember actually when we were in Berlin, we stopped in the middle of the street literally, and your husband took out this teeny tiny box with bananas or apples, and he was like, "Okay, yay, we need to stop, feeding time." It's really fed you. So that you became a person again.
The clock was ticking. That's true. This is what happened. So this is, I think, the second ritual. And the third one, and I did mention that, but I want to mention it again. It's a very special one to me. So when COVID hit, we started having an online breakfast with three other my friends, the four of us. One lives in Belgium. One lives now in Switzerland, before in Germany, and the two other, so me and Gosia, actually, we live in Poland, but in different cities.
Yeah.
And we just started it as a support group for what was happening at the beginning. Now it sounds silly, but we didn't know if we're gonna survive, if the
drama
will hit. Everyone was buying toilet paper in huge quantities.
I remember.
So somewhere at that point, we started this call, and the new tradition was born, and we are still doing this every week. Every week we are meeting.
Lovely.
So it's like 4 years, no, 3 years.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
And I think it's what you mentioned about your friends, that there were different stages of that friendship, and you somehow rediscovered yourself and bonding even more now when you're adults.
Yeah.
We met at the university, all of us, at the first year of our university, and I think it is a different phase now. And and kind of a little bit similar to the first phase when we had when we saw each other every day,
mm-hmm.
and having this repeatable experience of being able to see each other every week, it's for me, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Really, it's such a blessing.
Oh, it's cool.
Sometimes we talk really gibberish, but
and that's a part of the deal, right?
Yeah,
Even
but
that.
they are there, and love it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Mm.
My top 3. The first one will be traveling together, and as a tradition, it's kind of a thing. If you are born in Moscow and you have lived the majority of your life in Moscow, you adore going to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is your getaway ticket because St. Petersburg is like
I haven't been there.
3 point. Oh, that's such a shame. It's such a beautiful place. 3.5 hours on a train, and the journey begins on a train, literally, because the train consists of different carts, right? And one of the carts is the bar. So it literally starts there. So every time you go there, you just spend 3 hours in a weird train bar. So yeah, our thing with St. Petersburg and going there, the tradition was born, I think, in our mid-20s, when it was tremendously exciting to go travel when traveling doesn't require you to go too far, right? So it's convenient. You jump on a train on Friday, you get back on Sunday, and it's just such a vibrant scene for partying, and there's a lot of culture, and the people are extremely nice. It's the concept of a cultural capital of Russia, as they call it. Really, people are extremely nice, and it's like traveling to, I don't know, another dimension in a way. So we have been doing that consistently for years, and there have been years when we did travel.
Is it like is like the same month, or
no, not
like
necessarily.
Holiday?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
It's a bit shit in winter, as any other place would be. So that's a given. But yeah, our trips to St. Petersburg, and every time we would bring a video or a set of videos, because I'm a big fan of compiling everything that we did there, or every I don't know, fun stuff that we said. I compile those into short videos, and then we rewatch those, and every time we rewatch those, we're like, okay, when is the next time when we're going? So a lot of great memories there, and we do have our places, and we do have our rituals there, where to go, what to do, and how to plan the entire thing. So that's kind of a wholesome experience of Muscovites going to St. Petersburg.
I really love it.
Yeah,
I love
it's
the
really
idea
good.
of going.
Yeah, the place is always working.
Fun.
Yeah, exactly.
We started a new tradition, but we did it only once. We went to Florence, so we need to kind of.
But it's a good tradition, right? So we need to sort of think about it. Yeah. So right now,
what are the other rituals?
The other rituals. So I wouldn't say that Zooming and the calls, it's just a forced necessity. So it's not a tradition, like you had this established during COVID and so on and so forth. No, we're just now catching up, and that's one of the ways to do that. I think the other tradition would be to hang out at my place when I'm back home, because my place is the place to hang out.
Ooh, yes. The cool era.
Cool era. And my friends, I love it that my friends love my place. It was so important for me for that place to be like, I don't know, the center of good energy, the epicenter of people being happy and joyful and together. So I take pride in even cooking a bit, because I never take pride in cooking whatsoever. I'm sorry, when people are around me, it's never happening. But that is the moment when I love this. And I don't know whether that is a cultural thing, but in our culture, it's very important to, gather people on your kitchen. In my case, it's my living room, but there's a table, and we sit all together. And we over here, I don't see that much, like this. Honestly.
It's not happening these days the same way. Also because in many apartments right now, you don't have separate kitchen. Like there's kitchen next to a living room. And in my youth, always the kitchen was separate room. And then you gathered the biggest amount of people in the smallest space ever.
And it's such a vibe. It's such a vibe.
That's the coolest. Yeah.
Okay, and the third ritual, you might find it laughable, but sometimes my friends and I exchange postcards and letters. And these are the real ones that came to me since I moved to London. This one came all the way from Australia. This one came all the way from Moscow. This one came all the way from Sri Lanka, or what's the correct name? And this one actually came here from London to London. So The advice is to do little tangible things because it's so lovely, and you see there's a lot of text, some hearts down there. So I really, really love it, and I cherish that. And these are the memories that I really, really keep close to my heart.
I love it. When I was younger, I was writing a lot of letters, like long, heartful letters.
Yeah.
And then it stopped with the, emerging email emerging to being the most frequent channel. And then we had messengers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to do it again. So I founded myself a pen pal, and we started doing this.
Oh, cool.
Online, not physical one,
Yeah.
online, but like the proper long letters. And I just recently got one, and my friend even thought about the tiny small details, so he added the post stamp as a picture. It was super sweet. So thank you,
So
thank
cute.
you very much for that. Yeah, and I really love that. And writing letters is an art, I would say.
Yes, it's just like analog photography, and that's the reason why I gave you this film camera during our first episode. It's because I feel like when you think about things and giving that some extra thought about sitting down and writing something and spending half an hour on collecting your thoughts and actually putting a bit of your heart into a message, or contemplating what exactly you want to photograph, because the film is not eternal and never ending, right? It has an ending, so you need to think about it. I think it's lovely.
Also, it's lovely, it's amazing, and I know the gift was super cool. I love it. Writing letters is I agree totally, completely. It is an extra effort, but in the same time I also understand that some people are not doing this, like it's hard for them. It's the like out of the comfort zone or lack of the ability. I think writing is one of the hardest ability.
Yeah, it's an art form.
It's easy to say something, just and even that not for every person. Even talking is easy. Some people struggle with formulating their thoughts and their feelings into words. So
yeah,
so if you can, obviously go for it. But the struggle is if you have a person who's totally different than you, who is not, cannot express themselves, because you express yourself in a wonderful multiple ways. You are a very creative person. I love this about you. Like you can bring a lot of amazing ways and channels,
weird things.
and weird things. But that's an amazing quality about you, and I love that. But imagine having a friend who doesn't know how to do it. They don't like how to help them to be present in relationships, to show they care, to show they love, without this creative, let's say. We had a talk recently about the creative word being not so creative anymore, and we need to find a new word. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, like how to help those people. And I don't have an answer. Just I understand that for some it's super hard, because they don't have those tools we have as a creative people.
Yeah, I think the universal truth there would be don't demand the same thing from other people. Just do it your way and introduce them into your world. Because I really appreciated that. I mean, I was the catalyst behind this insanity of everybody among my friends started taking film pictures, because I literally gave everybody a film camera. And like, whether you use that or not, it's up to you. But I find it really captivating, and I find it really engaging and super important. So if you enjoy it, it makes me incredibly happy. It's just that kind of thing.
But it also leads us to something else. Like introducing to your world also means that with some friendships, with some people, you might be in a situation when you are giving a little bit more. And it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't care. It's just like you initiate something. You came up with the ideas, and then you need to. We talked a bit about this a few moments back, but I think it's important. Everyone needs to put the boundary somewhere, but in the same time, with some friendships, I understand, and it's fine with me that I will be the one that will initiate something.
Yeah, To me, it's more about understanding the vibes. It's not necessarily about the barriers, but about like how are you vibing? Are you coinciding, or are you going on different, like what's the flow, right? Because yeah, it might be even offensive, right? If you are proposing a lot of things and the other person is like, yeah, maybe. I mean, you know what? Shush. Yeah. So there's no easy answer to that.
Yeah, so you can be the one initiating, but if the other side responds really well to that and say, "Yeah, that's an amazing idea. I want to be part of that," that might be good enough. Like just
Maybe,
say yes
maybe.
to
Yeah.
everything what I'm proposing. Yeah, that might be a solution.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, two final forces that are left there is imagination. And imagination in a way that you can make anything out of your friendship. You can take any like you can place it anywhere. You can think that friendship is super important. You can say that friendship supports some other main pillars of your life. So you really can design your friendship in any way that you want to. You can give, you can take, and so on and so forth. So that's imagination to her. And the final one is grace.
I will stop you here because I have a question.
Okay.
How you put this advice into your life? Because for me, it's super abstract.
It is.
So
it is a
how
bit
you-
abstract, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the point where she's trying to say that society kind of makes us think that that friendships are on the sideline. Yeah, so friendships are not as important in terms of investing a lot of energy and work into your friendships and relationships in terms of how you make
Okay,
friends.
so
And
you can define
Yeah.
what the friendship is for you. It doesn't have to be
on a sideline, as she says. So
okay.
believable, and to me that's absolutely right, because well, in my current state of, I don't know, mind and physical existence, friendships are very, very important to me. That's why I think that it wouldn't be a great idea for me to say, you know what, friendships, whatever happens, and I'm focusing on my work. I mean, I am, if anyone from my work is watching this, but friends are very, very, very important. And the final thing is grace. Grace in a meaning that life gets in the way quite a lot. So you have to be very graceful in a way you navigate your friendships. And when you feel like you are drifting away, you're drifting apart, find a graceful way to accept it, find a graceful way to get back on track with your friends and reconnect and perceive that as a sort of a miracle. So, grace is all around us. So that kind of thing. I mean, lovely. I found this idea really lovely.
Yeah, I remember on the first episode we talked about are there some behaviors or situations when it would be impossible to form a friendship or to sustain a friendship.
Yep.
And there's different things happen in life and people come and go and nothing is forever, but also nothing is for never.
Nothing is for never.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So if even if you drift away, you can still come back. It's nice thought.
Yeah.
It's like letting people go, but still being there if they want to come back.
Exactly. And when I read this, I said, okay, 6 forces, that's really nice, but I think that some things are missing. So I came up with a couple of mine to just continue the list. And I just tried to list some things that worked for me really well. So I would say list happens always. So I would also say, answering the question of how to sustain old friendships and how to make friendships well, I wouldn't say last longer. I would say just last. Yeah, and for them to be really meaningful. So I think it's really important to take your friends, old friends, into your new experiences, even if they are far away. What I mean by that is, for example, when I moved into the first apartment and into the second apartment, which is this one now, I did the room tours for my friends every time so that they could see where I am now and like why I find this particularly cool. And I'm like, when you come here, not even if, when you come here, this is going to be the place for this is going to be the rooftop, so we're going to take some drinks upstairs, so I'm just taking them into this moment of what's happening with me or to me at this particular moment. So regular stories around what's happening to you right now. And I think yesterday was the very pinnacle of this thought that I had, how lovely it is to take your old friends into your new experiences, because my old friend came over physically and she spent 2 days at mine and we were hanging out in London, which is really lovely. And all of a sudden, we didn't plan this much, but all of a sudden in the evening at the bar, we met my new friends that I gained here. And I took a moment to appreciate.
So it was by chance, or you planned this?
By chance. So we went to a concert.
In London.
To a jazz concert with a bunch of friends. And then they just, people started chatting. So people started texting. And then everybody just gathered up in 30 minutes. Miracle. Yeah. And we were having so much fun. And we were laughing. And we were talking nonstop. And it was such a great vibe. And I just took a moment to sort of take a breath, and I looked at all of them, and they were having such a great time. And I just sat there thinking how lovely and how marvelous it is to see your old friends and your new friends connecting, realizing that maybe I'm doing some things right in my life, when such amazing people around me are vibing. So that was my take from yesterday, and I kind of love this.
I remember, and I think we talked about this, that I have a lot of islands of friends.
Yeah.
So I have friends in different cities, different places, and they not necessarily know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this meeting of friends, it's not always possible, but when it's possible, it's like a next stage. Like I'm just introducing you to my other friends.
Yes.
And that's a cool part. And obviously I love the moment when it clicks somehow for them. That's always the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And previously I was quite cautious about introducing these islands of friends to islands of friends, because it was kind of on me whether they are gonna vibe or not. And I was always a bit anxious about it. And I wasn't necessarily thinking that this is a necessary thing in your friendships, to connect your friends to other friends. And right now it's so different. Because the more friends are joyous around me, the more I feel joyous around them. It's kind of this massive thing that is happening.
Also, it's not your responsibility, and sometimes I imagine some friends might not get along very well, and that's if they do, that's a bonus. That's a gift.
Yeah, but if they don't, it's okay, right?
It's okay, yes. You don't have to.
Yeah. And my final addition to the list was that you have to try to do small, meaningful things. And to me, small, meaningful things are literally like, just find some ways and establish some mini rituals and keep these things going.
With small, meaningful things, I think we are going into...
Please!
Our ritual of sending each other gifts for this podcast. It should be prompt for discussion, but we end up,
just opening gifts. Yeah, we did a great job. I love it so much. Okay, you open first, because it's gonna make total sense what I gave to you.
Okay, again, I will do the sounds. Sorry. A book. I think it's a book. Yes. Oh,
it's not.
A box of postcards.
Yeah,
okay, so I will start.
It's a homework
to you.
You have to start, and it's not just a random box. I wanted something very British to happen because, not that I'm a super representative of this culture, but it's a box of postcards with Peter the Rabbit.
You are building the new relationship.
I'm building my presence on this cultural market, right? Yeah, so Peter the Rabbit, the lovely, lovely fairy tale, beautifully drawn. Everybody loves it here. So, now we are a part of this.
I love it. It's actually an easy one for me, the homework, because I really like, and as I mentioned, I want to rediscover this part of me.
And you see, that's me like a slow spider. I'm just involving you into my things. First the camera, now the postcards. Start doing that.
Okay, so mine was
Can I?
Obviously. So it's actually related to a thing we started talking before we hit the record button.
My.
So you mentioned it's quite cold in London.
It's
last time.
insane.
And today again. So I bought you a blanket.
Thank you so much.
But you may think it's a selfish thing because I'm coming to you next week.
You're coming
so
to
I
me
don't
next
want
week.
to
You're gonna be
froze to
using
death.
that so much. Actually, just trying to think about my friend who literally just left and she almost died because it was so cold over here. Masha, now I have a blanket, but you missed it. I love the color.
It's also like kind of British, I would say. This, this pattern it has.
Do
it
I look
really
like
gives
a
me...
grandma?
Yeah, and we're gonna drink cacao when I join you.
We will. Cool. On this very warm note, I think we're ready to wrap things up. It was a lovely, lovely conversation, I think, once again. And I'll go and record a video to my friends.
And I will start writing letters.
Awesome. And you guys,
Awesome.
go and tell your friends that you love them or you miss them, or just say hi because it's important.
Shift happens.